Hey everyone, my name is Will. I am the co-founder and CEO of Phonely. Today, we're going to be talking about how to set post-call outcomes in Phonely's platform. Before we dive in to do that, I want to motivate really quickly why this is such a valuable feature inside of Phonely's platform and why we think that you should use it on every single conversation that you have. When you're building a voice AI agent, you should be building it towards outcomes. The outcomes are what the AI agent is actually going to do for you. Is that resolving a customer support query? Is that answering and qualifying a lead? Is that booking an appointment? Whatever that might be, that outcome sometimes takes place after the conversation is done. Maybe you're just transferring it over to a human, or maybe that person doesn't show up to the appointment. Well, previously, there was no way to inform your voice AI agent that something happened after the call. But with Phonely's brand new post-call outcome, you can actually make an API request back into Phonely, or you can do it via Zapier to make a request back into Phonely to update the outcome and then view it on the dashboard. So then we can get a trace back and we can understand what calls have been converted into something that you actually care about. As you can probably imagine, this is a very powerful feature for anybody that wants to optimize their AI agent outside of just what you can build in Phonely's platform. So how do we do that? Well, let's dive right into the product, show you through a little bit of the tech, the nitty-gritty, and then simply how you can use this in the platform using Phonely's performance page. All right, when you get into Phonely's page, you can go over to our documentation section, and I'm going to walk you through really quickly what this is. If you're not familiar with docs, put it in ChatGPT. ChatGPT will help you get this information updated. You can send this request by Zapier, or you can do it simply by a webhook. And the way that this works is basically it will allow you to update a call using either the phone number or the call ID. So if you have a phone number recorded in your system, like for example, somebody calls and after the call, they actually schedule an appointment and they show up to their appointment and you want to update us afterwards, you can update the call outcome at any point for that specific DID. So for example, simply here, all you're going to put in here is the custom call outcome. You can create different tags. As this case, we're going to say maybe this was sold. So we're going to update that as call sold. You can attribute a value to that. So that is a monetary value that you can attribute to that. So let's say that, maybe that appointment booked or that call sold for $299. Well, you can attribute that to that specific phone call. And then you can understand how you can make better phone conversations to get higher value off of your clients. The next thing you can do is you can add metadata to that. So that might be just other information that you want to pass through, and you can define those there as well. And then when you do this, you are going to pass in here two pieces of information. You can either do agent ID or you can do call ID or phone number. Keep in mind when you do that to use the correct format, which is E164 format, which basically just means for your US number +1 715 234 56789. And then you have two different types of attribution. You have first touch or last touch. We recommend using last touch attribution for everything, and it's default on there. What does that mean? That means let's say that person calls in twice. Well, we're going to attribute the last time that they called in with the outcome that they have as well. You can also attribute a campaign to this as well. All right, so now we've set our post call outcome. We've gone through the docs. We got that set up. Shouldn't take too long. All right, now that we're in the performance page, we can see the different outcomes and when they are occurring on the different dates. So these call outcomes were actually passed through after the call was finished. If we want to get into more detailed filtering, we can actually do this by setting the grouping. In this situation, let's say that we want to change the groups because we want to compare appointments booked to maybe we're going to say total calls. So let's just do ended reason and select everything. All right, so in this situation, we want to understand what percentage of our calls are ending up with appointment booked out of our total conversation. So I'm just going to rename that really quick. So we want to get that understanding of, okay, what of those calls, how many appointments are actually being booked? Well, we can set up those two different groups, and each group, we can see the difference between them. Now, let's say that we want to dive into a little bit more detail and understand which calls had the appointment booked, and we want to listen to those calls here. Well, by clicking on that, we get into a detailed view of the calls that are popping up here. So to give you a little bit more of an example, let me dive into a page that has a little bit more data so that we can look into some of the ways in which you might set this up for your customers. So in this situation, let's say that we want to understand a little bit better of how many agent-initiated escalations we have. This is a different use case, but we want to understand this. We can set up these different groups here to trigger based upon the different outcomes that we have inside of Phonely. And once we select one, then we can view all the conversations in which that happened. This is just one call, but as you have more data passing through, you have the different conversations that you can scroll through, click into them, and then view the conversations as they pop up. As you can see, the performance page, coupled with the ability to set custom outcomes, gives you an incredible amount of flexibility to set up dashboards, but not just that, analyze and optimize your AI agent to see how you can consistently make it better week over week, month over month, year over year to produce the AI agent that is the most optimized for your outcomes. If that seems interesting, or you want to learn more about how to build Phonely agents and optimize your voice agents for the outcomes that you care about, definitely hit the subscribe button and follow along for more content on how to build great voice AI agent. Again, my name is Will. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video to the end, and we can't wait to see what you build inside of Phonely's platform.